China certainly manufactures everything from needles to cars and sends them around the world. But, in itself, it lacks exactly that unique characteristic which only and exclusively the United States possesses. U.S. President Donald Trump stands before a large crowd of journalists gathered at the White House, prominently displaying and holding up an exceptionally large rate card as part of his official presentation. On this rate card, the names of some countries were listed along with their tariff rates. President Trump called them out one by one. And with that sudden event, a powerful wave of fear rapidly spread across the entire world, including America itself. The stock markets around the world experienced a significant crash, as this downturn was interpreted as an ominous sign indicating the onset of a very large-scale war, a conflict in which the primary weapon would be power itself. And the ammunition for this weapon would be money. Yes, we can also call it a trade war or a tariff war. Donald Trump employed an indirect tactic that has the potential to elevate the United States to the world's most powerful trading country status. Bring China to its knees and make it stand. If this is a trade war, then whose side would be stronger? China or America? To help the audience understand this matter correctly, we first need to understand tariffs. Most people think that tariffs might. While it may seem to be a tax imposed on other countries, in reality, it actually functions as a type of import duty, which will only apply to products imported into the United States. That is, if the USA has imposed a 26% tariff on India, it means that products coming from India will be subject to a 26% tax in the USA. Similarly, according to Donald Trump's list, Pakistan currently imposes a tariff rate of 29%, while at the top of the list is China, which maintains a 34% tariff. Imposing tariffs or import duties is not an abnormal thing. Although, looking at the same list, India has imposed a 52%. Pakistan has set a 58% rate, and China has set a 67% rate. The advantage of tariffs is that the primary objective is not to generate revenue through the imposition of taxes on products from any country. Instead, it serves as a strategic approach to safeguard and support your domestic industries. For example, Harley Davidson, which is a premium American motorcycle brand, when this bike comes from the USA to India, the Indian government imposes a 100% tax. Let's assume that the price of a Harley Davidson model is 150000, and if no taxes are imposed on it in India, this bike will start being available in India at the price of the locally made Royal Enfield. Consequently, now that customers have the option to acquire both bikes at the exact same price, almost everyone will prefer to buy an American brand bike. This policy will significantly harm India's local bike industry. Therefore, by imposing tariffs or import taxes, authorities might exacerbate the issue. Bikes coming from abroad are deliberately made more expensive, and this has several benefits. Firstly, the local industry continues to operate. Secondly, it also saves foreign exchange, because obviously, those who import American bikes, they will have to send US dollars to America after selling them, and this necessary action will significantly decrease the US dollar savings in India's foreign currency reserves. At present, because America has recently imposed new tariffs, it consequently means that goods sent from various other countries to America will be taxed there accordingly. And those items are expected to be more expensive in America, which will likely result in lower sales figures in America. And people would prefer to consistently buy locally manufactured products, just as clothes made in India and Pakistan are widely sold in various American markets. But these clothes could also be made there. Due to taxes, the sales of India's and Pakistan's textile industries, there will likely be a slight decrease in economic growth, but the tariffs imposed by former President Trump will most significantly impact China's trade relations. In fact, it is also being said that Donald Trump was originally supposed to target China itself. This is because until the year 2000, American products were widely exported worldwide, which greatly influenced globalization. China now holds that status, which was previously held by America. But over time, not only America but the entire world's business has moved to China. Even the smallest items are now made in China and exported to every corner of the world. Because of the widespread availability of cheap labor, any product manufactured in China becomes remarkably inexpensive, which allows it to easily compete with prevailing prices in the international markets. From a global perspective, China is increasingly dominating almost the entire world with its vast array of products, leading to the gradual elimination of local industries. When considering the overall trade activities with China, Throughout this year, the United States has successfully imported goods valued at the same $1 billion from China. And this year, China has imported goods worth $10 billion from America, and currently, the condition for 2025 is that the US from China demands goods worth $440 billion every year, whereas China only demands goods worth $145 billion from America. Donald Trump states that the trade must be equal, meaning if we buy goods worth $440 billion from China, we should receive equivalent value in return. Then China should also buy an equal amount, whereas there is a difference of $295 billion here. The difference between imports and exports is known as a trade deficit, and various measures aim to equalize this deficit. To reduce it, former President Donald Trump has focused on China, resulting in an increase in the products being imported from China. Most of these modern devices are smartphones, having their prices in the American market continue to increase significantly. And even in the latest generation of smartphones, especially the renowned Apple iPhone, which is originally an American product, it is manufactured in China. When the costs associated with importing these products from China become significantly higher, their respective industries will cease operations in China and shift their production back to America. This is what Donald Trump wants, but not China. Just see that American tech giants. All of Apple's innovative and diverse products, ranging from iPhones and iPads to MacBooks and Apple Watches, are predominantly manufactured in China. Dell and HP produce reliable laptops, Nike and Skechers create stylish shoes, Logitech and GoPro design accessories, Black Decker and Stanley offer durable products. Additionally, even the popular toys produced by major American companies like Mattel or Hasbro are also manufactured in China nowadays. If all these companies wind up their manufacturing plants from China and decide to bring them back to America, then America would have to import alternative materials and resources domestically. Nearly $200 billion less worth of goods would need to be imported from China each year, and the trade deficit would decrease from $295 to only $80 or $90 billion, but undoubtedly America would benefit on one hand, but due to production costs in America. As a consequence, these products would become increasingly more expensive, and these companies themselves would suffer substantial losses. But it appears that Donald Trump is intent on dismantling China's monopoly at all costs, regardless of the fact that this strategy may cause him to suffer significant personal losses himself. On the other hand, China also doesn't want that to happen, and for this reason, when Trump increased taxes on Chinese products. Therefore, China has imposed additional taxes on a range of American products, and as a result, this escalating issue has now developed into a full-blown trade war between the two nations. Neither the Chinese president is backing down nor is Donald Trump showing any intention to retreat. Both countries have imposed so many taxes on each other. If an item previously priced at $10 is sourced from China, its cost will now begin to increase to double that amount, and similar price hikes are also occurring within China itself. But the question here is, which of these two powers has a stronger grip? In this trade war, whoever can survive longer wins. Upon examining the data, it becomes clear that America primarily imports technological items from China, such as mobile phones, laptops, electronics, or toys. If these products are not imported into the United States for an extended period of time, it won't make much difference to America. Or, should these products be imported from a foreign country, they will, at worst, be only slightly more expensive. However, China is currently demanding something critical from America, without which it would be very difficult for China to maintain its stability. Yes, and this very specific product might potentially present a substantial and significant problem or challenge for China over the course of the coming months. Let's know that China's total population is 1.41 billion, meaning 315% more than the American population. In order to sufficiently feed this rapidly increasing large population, it is obviously necessary to produce more food, especially wheat and rice as the most essential staples. But the main issue at hand is that China has merely 13% of its overall land area classified as agricultural land. In other words, each Chinese citizen is allocated only 0.23 acres of land, with most of this limited area being utilized exclusively for cultivating wheat and rice crops. This policy is implemented so that basic food items do not have to be imported, recognizing that these are only the basic items needed. In China, pork is consumed in exceptionally large quantities, to the point where the nation boasts the highest pig farming industry in the entire world. It is only in China. According to 2024 records, there are more than 400 million pigs in China. That is, in China, there are more pigs than the human population in the United States. On one hand, the global pork consumption and On China's side, it is now evident that the country's 400 million pigs also require adequate and consistent sources of food to properly sustain them. They are given corn, which is processed to obtain sugar, and soybeans, which are utilized to extract essential proteins needed for their nutrition. Their feed consists of 60% corn and 40% soybeans. 80% of corn production. Most soybean production takes place in China, while the remaining 20% must be imported each year from Ukraine. However, soybeans are a product that is only imported from the USA and Brazil. Each year, China imports 50 million tons of soybeans from the USA for pig feed. And it is also difficult to import this product from elsewhere because soybeans are a crop that doesn't provide much benefit to farmers. Farmers are currently able to cultivate only 150 kilograms of soybeans on each acre of land. When it comes to corn, 6,000 kilograms can be grown per acre. This crop can only be grown where there is a lot of agricultural land. Land in the USA is readily available because the country's population is very low, and the land is abundant, providing ample space. Each individual American citizen owns about 100 acres of land, which is 400% more compared to their Chinese counterparts. This is precisely why the United States is capable of not only meeting its own substantial food demands but also continues to have an abundance of land that remains available for other uses. Soybeans are cultivated extensively in that region and subsequently exported to China. However, it is important to note that pigs' diet is not exclusively composed of soybeans. China had already recognized this potential risk and has also been actively trying to add alternative ingredients to the animal feed. Like canola seeds, which are cheaper than soybeans, but because their digestion rate is lower, a higher quantity of feed must be provided, increasing the total cost. They have also attempted using peas or sunflower meals as protein sources, but these alternatives don't contain nearly as much protein as soybeans, making soybeans a superior choice for their needs. For which extra supplements must be provided, increasing costs. Currently, in China, a new experiment is being conducted in which insect farming will take place, and then those insects will be fed to pigs to meet their protein demands. Fulfills them. But so far, this experiment is still in its testing phase. Additionally, China is This nation maintains a significant trade surplus, meaning that all the goods manufactured within its borders cannot be consumed solely by China. They have to sell their products to the world in any case to survive. The biggest drawback of a trade surplus economy is this. They have a lot at stake and stand to lose significantly, whereas, on the other hand, America has increasingly transformed itself into a vast consumer market. They have a wide variety of purchasing options available. If they decide not to source their products from China, they are able to buy from other countries and suppliers to fully meet their demands. During his previous tenure, Donald Trump had imposed significant tariffs on China, and it was abundantly clear that China was definitively losing the trade game as a result of these economic measures. And this time again, there are similar hopes. Donald Trump has all the cards to lead effectively and secure another term as President of the United States. Blackmail China, and perhaps China is well aware. During the production of this video, news broke that Trump has suspended tariffs on other. He permits entry to the countries for a maximum of 90 days, yet has raised China's tariffs to 125%. This compelling piece of evidence clearly demonstrates that those specific tariffs were indeed imposed on China. What is your opinion on this whole matter? Please let me know in the comment section.